In 2018, we saw 360 murders less than in 2017. And that was purely as a result of the implementation of the SOEs in Kingston Western, St. James, and St. Catherine North.
Prime Minister Andrew Holness says he made the case for the continued use of the states of public emergency as a crime-fighting strategy. Communities where the special security measure has been imposed are reporting up to 26 fewer murders between January 1 and July 15 over last year. And while the security forces continue their crime reduction strategies, you too can help make your community safe. Call 311 or 876-837-8888 and share information about illegal activity.
The following is brought to you by MOCA, the major organized crime and anti-corruption agency with kind support of NIA and USAID.
Criminal minds think they are cunning. The major organized crime and anti-corruption agency have them running. Your friend a shout, come scam. Take time running, are we ready for the ops? Drive up on your block, step out now we block, cyber take about your laptop. Pull up every lock, no evidence to drop. We put it in a cuffs and now we have the underground. When you say scam, you better look out for. When you move corrupt, better look out for. They say you get wet, look out for. Look out for, look out for. From you say scam, you better look out for. When you move corrupt, better look out for. They say you get wet, look out for. Look out for, look out for.
The proceeding was brought to you by MOCA, the major organized crime and anti-corruption agency with the kind support of NIA and USAID.
MOCA, MOCA.
Good day, I'm Stephen McHugh, and this is your JIS News for Monday, July 22. The approximately $1 billion floating storage and regasification terminal by New Fortress Energy is supporting the government's effort to diversify the country's energy sources. The new liquefied natural gas LNG terminal, which is located off the coast of Old Harbour, was commissioned on Friday by Prime Minister Andrew Holness. Mr. Holness says the plant will reduce the cost of energy to Jamaicans while providing more economically friendly fuel.
There are other countries who may be saying being environmentally conscious is too costly. But I think we are demonstrating that we can put in place the necessary investment, build the infrastructure that both reduces the cost to the consumer, but also, most important, reduces the cost to the environment. And I think this is a very good example of that. It's a win-win for all of us.
The LNG terminal will supply the Jamaica Public Service's 190 megawatt power plant in Old Harbour, which is scheduled to be completed in September 2019. The floating storage and regasification terminal will firmly establish the island as a premier LNG hub, as it is the first of its kind in the Caribbean. Prime Minister Andrew Holness has directed the National Works Agency and the China Harbour Engineering Company to have the three major corporate area roadworks completed by September 1. Mr. Holness gave the directive Sunday as he toured works along the 3 miles Hagley Park, Constant Spring and Manor Park roads. He got a first-hand view of the progress being made on the road infrastructure, as well as works being done to improve water, sewerage and telecommunications in the areas. The Prime Minister says once completed, the roadways will improve the island's interconnectivity and by so doing lead to greater development.
An entire market force has now been unleashed by the development of this, and you're going to see the transformation happen very soon. You're going to see people making greater investments in their property to expand them, to improve them, and you're going to see new industries taking a keener look at Jamaica. So these kinds of infrastructure will actually improve Jamaica's attractiveness as a place for doing business.
And finally, the state of public emergency SOE for St. Andrews South Police Division has been extended until October 5 this year. The approval came from the Senate on Friday, following a similar motion by the House of Representatives on Tuesday. Leader of Government Business, Senator Kamina Johnson-Smith, in her address, says the enforcement is necessary to curb the bloodletting in the division. Between January 1 and July 2, the division recorded 94 cases of murders and 98 cases of shootings, both of which are the highest numbers among all police divisions in the country.
In the week July 7 to 13 of this very year, we note the positive result of the division having experienced only one murder and one shooting. As operations continue, the strategy moving forward will seek to return the division to a state where normal policing can continue to be effectively performed.
The state of public emergency was declared in the St. Andrew South Police Division on July 7 by Prime Minister Andrew Holness. During the SOEs, the security forces will have the power to search, curtail operating hours of businesses, restrict access to places, and detain persons without a warrant. And that's it for JIS News Today. I'm Stephen McHugh. Thanks for watching.
This is Romain Virgo. I'm here appeal to all of the youths them to just stay away from crime and violence. We know the temptation, the money, the fast life. People say them rate you. But that will only take you nowhere. If you stay in school and focus, then you can achieve anything. Be your own leader. A gang is a dead end.
A message from the Ministry of National Security.
The Jamaica Customs Agency is playing its part in the country's crime-fighting efforts. Ideas to boost that were unearthed during a recent panel discussion. Let's see what unfolded.
The fight against corruption remains an important task and one we intend to win.
Customs officials are particularly susceptible to corruption because of the scope, nature, and complexity of their work. The Jamaica Customs Agency, JCA, is therefore continuously seeking ways to strengthen its anti-corruption efforts. The engagement of all stakeholders, critical to the agency's fight against corrupt practices, is one strategy used in these efforts. One such engagement was a panel discussion held in October 2018 under the theme, Corruption Robs Us All. Let's break the chain.
What we need to do is to ensure that we create an environment that is resistant to corruption. And critical to those are the processes that we have. If you don't have proper processes and systems, you will expose your organization to all type of corruption. And those processes and systems must be continuously reviewed. And when there are system breaches, then the requisite punishment must be meted out or sanctioned.
An important factor in tackling the issue of corruption is taking the necessary steps to convict persons who have been so charged.
We in this room need to ensure we do the requisite proper training of the persons, proper investigation, proper collection of exhibits, putting together a proper file, and placing it before the court system. The mere fact that an allegation is made, it doesn't mean that the person is guilty. There must be proof.
The occasion was also used to highlight the measures being employed at the JCA to combat corruption.
We have established a 360-degree or a holistic approach within our anti-corruption strategy, anchored on the foundation of integrity, development, and maintenance.
The JCA continues to weave the thread of integrity into its operations, guided by the best practices outlined by the World Customs Organization, WCO. These are geared towards improving efficiency, which in turn reduces or eliminates opportunities for corruption.
A code of conduct is in place. Our human resource management in terms of refining recruitment and rotation policy. And within any system, who you bring in your organization by way of recruitment are the same persons who can affect you as it relates to corruption. And so you have to ensure that those things are dealt with. And the moral and organizational culture is important as well. But one of the main important element is relationship with our private sector and stakeholder. And so several means of engagement continues.
There are certain strategic plans that we have, such as strengthening internal controls through re-evaluation of processes and procedures, We have identification of vulnerabilities through environmental assessment, develop a robust record management system, and that is across the agency, revise and implement security vetting policies. So these policies are looked at, review constantly. Then continuous anti-corruption engagement with staff and provision of relevant tools. So we also we educate our staff as it relates to anti-corruption, how getting involved in corruption, how it affects them, how it affects the country. And we are not just here to get them, but also for them to be partner with us.
Adding to the discussions was the representative from the Financial Investigations Division of the Ministry of Finance and the Public Service, a unit tasked with investigating allegations of financial crimes and money laundering.
One of the fundamental aspirations of the division, together with our partners at CTOC, is to take the money out of crime. We follow very closely and collaborate with MOCA, JCF, RPD, Customs on these cases with the intention and particular focus on taking the profit out of crime.
Another partner with multifaceted roles is the Revenue Protection Division, RPD. The division is key in assisting the JCA to maintain its integrity through the vetting of prospective employees.
We also interact with customs at other levels. For example, we spoke about the anti-corruption committee, where we're a part of that. We sit on the anti-corruption committee. We sit on the custom brokers licensing advisory board to ensure that those coming into the profession are of a certain standard. We look at the facilities that customs operates in to ensure that those facilities and the processes and procedures employed there are efficient.
Members of the audience, including customs brokers and freight handlers, also contributed to the discussions.
There's what we call a code of silence in Jamaica. Because I have had situations where if you complain, if you call, if you write, the minute you do that, you become a target of, I'm not speaking specifically of customs, I'm speaking generally.
We accept that there's corruption, and we accept that we live in a violent society, and it's for that reason that the JCF as well as the RPD, we have associations with Crime Stop Jamaica, where persons can call anonymously, leave the information, and we will investigate.
I am not sure at the end of this, what is it we intend to do? It is good to have us here to give suggestions, to say what is happening in our departments, what we would have done, but at the end of all of this, what is it we intend to do?
This for us is another form of engagement, but an engagement of frank discussion. In going forward, we need to ensure, especially from customs, greater efficiencies, transparency, and gender integrity, and have that collaborative work with all our law enforcement, all our border regulatory agencies to ensure that we're operating within a space that will give them the service that they deserve.
The Jamaica Customs Agency and its partners continue to demonstrate their commitment to fight corruption by engaging in open discussions aimed at finding effective methods and strengthening current mechanisms to tackle this challenge.
The Jamaica Cultural Development Commission's Festival Song Competition is on in earnest. 10 finalists have been selected for the 2019 staging of the island's longest-running local talent competition. Hear from one of the finalists next.
Jamaica land we love. Jamaica. We not run left Jamaica. We just love with Jamaica.
More life.
More memories.
More moments.
Jamaica Moves is a call to action to prevent non-communicable diseases. Get active, eat healthy. You can protect yourself from high blood pressure, obesity, asthma, certain cancer diseases, and more.
Thinking of a fun family outing that's also good for your health this summer? Watch this next feature.
When you think of Treasure Beach in St. Elizabeth, you're thinking of swimming, eating fresh fruits and vegetables from neighboring farms, or even the catch of the day. But the area has more to offer, like Red's Cycle Tour.
The name of my business is Red Cycle Tours, and yeah, we offer different rides. That all depends on your fitness level, right? Because what we're doing is promoting sports tourism, you know, in that sense. Keep it local and at the same time fitness and wealth. So the tours, we have like the farm tour, local farm tour here, it's about 2 to 2.5 hours round trip. As we are about to go on a cycling tour, a real adventure that explores Treasure Beach and our environment here. We're going to go to the farms this morning, and you're going to meet the farmers, and then you're going to learn a little about what makes Treasure Beach. So welcome. Safety tips, we stay on the left, 2 bicycle length apart, right? If and when you do have to hit potholes, right, you hold on your brakes before, slow down, and then flow through. All right, the bikes are pretty good. They're also suspension, and yeah, we should be good.
Well, my helmet, I'm all right. Am I all right?
Yeah, all right, man. Don't take it too much that you can't talk, you know.
Oh.
Christ. That look choking, man.
So in terms of health-wise, how does cycling help with that?
Cycling is a complete exercise, like swimming.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, your entire body, all the muscles in your body, yeah, actually work because you have to be pushing and pulling at the same time.
Mm-hmm.
So it's a complete exercise. And plus concentration. When you're on the road, you know, with cars and stuff like that, your concentration, you know,
has to be on point.
Yes, have to be on point. So you're, you know, as I said, a full body workout, and then your mind have to be sharp at the same time. So it's a healthy way.
I know, because especially coming up the little slope, I feel it
You
in
feel
my
it in your thighs.
goodness.
That's right.
But what made you start the bike tours?
Started out as a chef, a baker and a chef, some years ago, and then started to meet people. And that's where the idea came about. They wanted to explore. I started out by just hiking, like walking tours, and then the idea came about using bicycles. And add to that with the GX Triathlon, that had helped me to propel the whole idea and put it together that, you know, yeah, people need bikes when they're here, and they need to explore our area and, you know, meet our people and, yeah, and learn our culture.
And see what exactly St. Elizabeth has to offer.
What St. Elizabeth has to offer. Because as you know, down here is the food basket.
Is that a hill?
It is a hill. It's your first one.
My first hill? I don't think I'm moving. Hold on, I need a rest. That was a hill and a half. First hill, the rough. This bike tour is no joke. No joke. I feel it in the thighs. I didn't even know I was moving because my legs were dead, like dead. One day somebody won't like push me.
This is off the beaten track now, and this is where it's fun because then you get to see all the farmlands, all the cantaloupes and the watermelons and the escallion and you name it. Everything that is farmed here in South St. Elizabeth.
We are now at Liquor Park, Treasure Beach. Here is a farming area. Here you have the tomatoes and cantaloupe also, but these cantaloupe are a bit younger. So now we are mulching the land to get a good produce, a good production. So if you don't mulch it, then the result will be poor. And the chemical wise, you have to spray for the insecticide and etc. Fungicide also. These are some unique melon that you have here. We call it the tangerine, or some people say the pineapple, or the orange. This is the orange one, in my understanding. It is not common to every farmer. It's a bit unique. So the higglers and they call them the marketing personnel. They yield for this type of fruits because they sell fast.
The bike tour is almost like pedestrian then. They go into the little nooks and crannies and lanes where people live. They see how they live, they see how their houses are made. And they are intrigued by this, you know. For example, some Europeans or Americans are where they come from have never seen people cooking on wood fire, for example. And when they go into these little lanes and so on, these people have their kitchens made from native material, whatever. Sometimes there's no building at all. It's just a pile of stone on which they make a fire and they cook and wash and so on. So that is interesting to them. It go into the far reaches of their mind and let them inquire further. How these people came about. How did they live like this? How did they learn all these skills?
The journey was amazing, especially the downhill sections. Cycling offers you a good leg workout, so if you are up for the challenge, this is definitely the activity for you. Thank you very much, Damien.
I say be careful what you teach your little children. Make sure I know something to hurt them. Mind what you saying to my sister. She could be the next Prime Minister.
Children in Jamaica constitute anyone who is under the age of 18 years. And so once you have a child who is under your care and supervision, we encourage you at the Office of the Children's Advocate to always know where your children are. It doesn't mean that you have to be there with them, but you certainly know who they're with, where they're going, and the purpose for being there. This is a key component in helping to establish some rules in terms of some ground rules and helping to guide your children towards responsible and sensible choices, and also assisting you if something were to go wrong to know what is the first point of contact to assist your child. While you're not to look at everybody as a potential suspect, that you need to be very wary of adults, whether they're in positions of authority or not, that seek to want to have a very close relationship with your child. Somebody who wants to invite your child on an outing and it's just that adult and your child alone. Somebody who wants to take your child to a very special event to reward the child, perhaps for some performance that the child would have done in an extracurricular activity or for academic excellence. We encourage you to look at these situations very carefully and to determine whether or not it's an appropriate meeting or outing that this person is propositioning for your child. If you're enrolling your child in a daycare, ensure that you know something about the track record of that daycare. Ensure that the daycare has what we call an open door policy, which allows you to go in, see what's happening, observe how the workers there interact with the children, and know some of the ground rules that guide these interactions. If they're going on outings, whether it be school trips or otherwise, ensure that at some point, even if you can't go to all, you do attend some of them, so you get yourself integrated into the system and the culture of the school. For these tips, and of course any other information that deals with children, that is anyone under 18 years, please feel free to contact the Office of the Children's Advocate. We're at 72 Harbour Street, downtown Kingston, and our numbers are 948-1134, or website www.oca.gov.jm.
Watch what you teach your little children. Make sure I know something to hurt them.
Kind what you saying to me, sister, cause she could be the next Prime Minister.
And that's how we close out Jamaica Magazine, but only for today. We return tomorrow with another information-packed program right here on this station. If online is more your speed, visit our website, jis.gov.jm. Join us on all the major social media platforms and be sure to download our mobile app. On behalf of the entire team here at the GIS, I'm Adrian Atkinson. Thanks for watching.
This has been a production of the Jamaica Information Service, the voice of Jamaica.